I'm not going to drink this cup of coffee. I think I'm just going to hold it so my hands don't shake, if you don't mind. Believe it or not, 3 years ago, I was in your shoes at the first marketing manager's training. And I think I can describe how you're feeling right now. Your head hurts, your eyes are bulging, your feet are itchy. You can't wait to get out of here. But so that was my first exposure to Robin. And you heard Robin say yesterday that her marketing is not traditional. And I think that was the hardest thing for me to get out of my system, was because I was in business development for a long time with a publisher and architect, and there were certain ways we did things. And so to sort of shed that traditional label, one of the things I did is I created a sign. I borrowed a phrase from Dante's Inferno, abandon traditional marketing, all you who enter here, and that's above my door. And I noticed coming in, it's also above Robin's door, because I had sent Andrea a copy a year ago. But I look at that because when you look at things and you see things and you're reminded of things, it helps get into your thinking. And I was also glad when I arrived to find out what the title of my talk was going to be. Organizing, planning, and getting it all done. We managed to get most of it done. There's always something else to be done. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. In fact, I'm going to talk a lot about that. And by way of an introduction, there's a couple of things that I want to say. I do have the best job in the world, and I get to do something that I'm good at, something I enjoy, and something with people that I really like and respect. And that includes all of you. And I know a lot of you, and I've made a few new friends this weekend, and I hope to make a few more. And if you skim my bio, you see that one thing I've been successful at is helping people and organizations, move on and move up, and sometimes move out. Okay, it wasn't a dark and stormy night when I met Tom. I wish I could say it was, but it wasn't. It was actually a networking event, and I was a guest of someone, and I was introduced, and Tom picked up the fact that I had been general manager of a technology company for 6 years, and he had just purchased a technology company to add to his web business. So we started talking. Long story short, in October 2008, I started working for Tom. That's the short history. Okay, here's the important dates in our relationship with Robin. Actually, before I started working, Tom bought the Toolkit. He gave me the Toolkit shortly after I came, said, "What do you think?" Honestly, I didn't know what to think the first time I read through it, because again, I was so steeped in this traditional, this is the way you got to do things. But I liked it and got onto it. One of the problems was I was also full-time, he hired me as full-time service manager because of my experience as general manager. So the heat and the drama in the service department sort of kept the marketing involvement down. So what we did is in February 2009, we went to the implementation seminar in Dulles. And I'm going to let Tom tell you about that. Whoops. Maybe I won't. I'll try again. You guys have videos and audio, anyway, we good? We good? Yeah. All right. This is Tom. On our way back from boot camp, we were driving over to the Baltimore-Washington airport to pick up my car. And I said to Tom, I said, do you know we're driving by the Dallas airport? And this is where we first met Robin. And Tom said, great, let's stop by. So we stopped by. We went to the very stage that we first met Robin on, and we actually recorded a little 30-second video that we sent back to Robin, because we sort of came full circle. In March 2009, we went to boot camp. We joined Producers Club. May the 1st, we put out the first newsletter. We haven't missed the May 1st of the month deadline since May 2009. It's very important to be consistent. It's got to be there every month. People look for it. And that made an amazing difference in our business. People literally responded to it. I know the statistics I've heard, it takes 12 months to really get some action. It didn't take us quite that long. July 2010, we were making some organizational changes, so I joined, came on as full-time Marketing Madness Manager. And I got to choose my own title. That's my title, Marketing Madness Manager. I have the business cards to prove it, and the madness to prove it too. And actually, I didn't start this full-time job until July 17th a year ago, so I haven't quite been in this job a year. All right, so March 2011, we won the Mercedes and also joined the Genius League. So that's our history with Robin. Okay, I have a quote for you. Every time we go to one of these Robin events, Jeff is there or someone is there with a video camera saying, want a testimonial, want a testimonial. And all I could come up with was, well, just do it. It just works. So I found a quote. You recognize the quote, do or don't do, there is no try. Yesterday, Robin talked about the skills essential to a great marketer. And on my wall in the office, that page that's in your book has been next to my desk ever since I have been working on Technology Marketing Toolkit, because there are some really great things on here. One-to-one selling skills. Yes, I can sell. I love to sell. I work for the architectural firm. I think in 8 years I got to the table about $750 million worth of opportunity. So I can sell. That's not a problem. I prefer to do the business development and marketing side of it. Ability to write powerful, persuasive copy. I couldn't do that. That's something you learn from Robin. That's something I'm continuing to learn. And I've asked Robin, what should I be reading to improve on that? Ability to manage a ton of details. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later. Willingness to do the grunt work of research that most people skim over. We all know what that's about. Laser focus and excellent time management. That wasn't really a problem for me because I tend to have a very laser focus. Get A done, then we go to B, then we go to C. Ability to coordinate others, that's something else I'm going to talk about. Resourcefulness and tenacity. Victoria, wonderful story about being resourceful, about being tenacious. I mean, that's just really part of what we have to do all the time. And also invest time and energy in learning and mastery. And that's why you're here. That's why you come to Producers Club. Okay, my two topics, ability to coordinate others and manage a ton of detail. And I was trying to think of an illustration that I could put up to illustrate that. And you can't quite see it, but one morning on my bike ride in the Amish country, I took a picture of a team of an Amish man plowing. Now, what's significant is he's plowing with 7 mules abreast. That is extremely difficult. I'm sure that if there are horse people here, you understand the difficulty of that. So the ability to coordinate others and manage a ton of details. So I'm going to call this first one managing your relationships. And I have a goal in my work, and that goal is to build solid, valuable, joyful relationships for positive results. because if we don't enjoy our work, it's a lot more difficult. So I have a 3-step formula for that. It's called success, success, success. And it goes something like this. If you work to make the person you work for successful, if you work to make the people who work with you successful, and if you work to make the people who work for you successful, then you don't need to worry about your success. So if this has been something that I've been in the back of my mind for a long time in my work career. The people who I supervise, my job is to help make them successful. Tom, who I work for, my job is to help make him successful. Fred, who helps me in the office stuffing envelopes, my job is to help him be successful in his work. So to me, that's a real key to the relationships you have every day. And I've had some people say to me, well, how do you manage your boss? And usually when they say that, it's because they're not getting something they need, either leadership or that piece of copy they promised to have done yesterday at 4 o'clock. And there's a couple of reasons that may happen. Oftentimes, if you're new to the position or the position is new, they have a ways to go to start to trust you. But the responsibility on your side is you need to go every day and ask for what you need. So it's a very much a two-way relationship. Tom and I have a really great relationship. We're very different people. We think different, we act different, but one of the things that we do every day is we talk at least 5 or 10 minutes. And when I get to the marketing wall, I'll show you how we do that. So that's how I think you can help manage your relationships. All right. The marketing wall, the great wall of marketing. And thanks to Andrea, she said, well, you need a picture of the Great Wall of China. So I found a picture of the Great Wall of China. And my goal in the rest of this presentation is to really have you understand how the marketing wall works and how it has helped us. Because there are some very, very concrete benefits from our use of this. And just as in anything, this is what works for us. It may not fit you perfectly, but there may be some concepts that are triggered while we're going through this that will help you. All right. When I started last July, Tom and I sat down, and there were 4 goals that we were going to work on. Number 1 was find a way to manage all the things we had underway and to launch the things that we wanted to do. Achieve our marketing plan for the year. Compete in and win the Mercedes. Hey, if you don't talk about it, it's not going to happen. And enter 2011 with a comprehensive plan for marketing. So what I want to do is I just want to talk briefly about how I put the wall together and how that helped us through the year. Okay. Well, the first thing I did is I made a starter list. I just wrote down, actually I typed into an Excel spreadsheet a list of every single thing that I could think of that we were doing related to marketing. And not just the campaigns and the tactics, but if we spent money on it and we had to maintain it or do anything to it, that was a cost related to marketing. So a lot of times I will talk about strategies and campaigns, and I think when I look at our marketing wall, we're fairly heavy on strategies. We do a number of campaigns, but part of the success of our campaigns is related to all of the strategies we have in place, and that sheet Robin had yesterday with the 3 levels. So when we do something over in the 3rd level, it's because we've already done some of the stuff in the first 2. So I made a list, I gave it to Tom, I tried organizing it. And it just wasn't coming. I could not make sense out of it. So I said to Tom, hey, I just got to forget about this. I'm going to let the subconscious mind work on it. I'm going to do something else and see what comes up. So literally, my mind was blank for about a week. And then one day I got it. And I love the graphics on this iPad keynote. So when I got it, it just appeared on the horizon. And it's a spreadsheet on steroids in Cork. I mean, oh yeah, right. Isn't that a wonderful description? But that's really what it is. It's a spreadsheet on steroids in Cork. And what did I do after I decided what I was going to do with it? I had a sort party. And what I did is I took all of these things we were doing, printed them out on mailing labels, and attached some little bitty pieces of scrap file folder. You know, I cut them in inch by 3-inch squares. And then I started putting them up on the board. So I had ideas, I had in development, I had in progress, which was things that were going on currently, and I had completed items. Okay, so everything is up there, and this, you know, we've got just tons of stuff on the wall. And then I discovered there was a problem, and this was part of the refining process. I discovered over here in completed, well, actually completed was, we were done with it, but there were also things in there that we sort of threw away, put in the trash. We're not going to do this again. So that gave birth to another little category called deleted. For example, yellow pages. We scrap yellow pages. I mean, so it's here. We tried Comcast ads. Didn't work. They're here. But they stay in the marketing board because it'll remind you of what didn't work. Or if you say to yourself a year down the road, did we try that? Well, it's here. You can take a look at it. All right, and then the next area where I had a issue was in progress. And what I discovered in the in progress part was there were things in there that you had to sort of, I call it feed and water on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So I first called them, I don't know what I called it, something one. And then the things that you didn't have to look at maybe once a year, I put over here and called it something two. I'm not sure what I called it exactly. And eventually what I discovered is these were the dynamic things. Your newsletter, your video tip, your campaign, your 3-step letter, the things that you had to touch on a regular basis. And then this, the static things, the things that you might have to go to once a year. And for example, under here we have Membership and Technology Marketing Toolkit, Randy Schwann. We have our sign. We have wrapped vehicles. So anything that you do related to marketing, anything you have to pay for, anything you have to touch, should be on your marketing wall. So I ended up with these categories here. And one final refinement we made was in development, we found it easy then to separate out that column. You know, I have a column, Tom has a column, Rich and Tom together have a column, and then we can delegate it to other people. So I took a snapshot of the marketing wall on Tuesday, and Fred and I put it together on poster board, so you have a shot at seeing what it looks like. Oof. So that is a snapshot of our marketing wall as it existed on Tuesday. So we have the ideas, we have the in development, we have the dynamic, the daily, weekly, monthly, we have the static, yearly things, we have the completed items here, and we have the things that we threw away or discarded there. So what happens in the morning, either Tom will walk into my office and say, what are you working on? or I'll walk in his office and say, hey, I'm working on this, where's that? How's the social media seminar that you're working on coming along? So most oftentimes he's in my office and we stand here for 10 minutes and decide what's going on. So for example, on my list on Monday was marketing managers training. I had to get a presentation ready. We're evaluating the Inspire email program. We need to plan the book promo. Tom's book, we just got Tom's book. And then I have about 10 things. I have a little green line here, the thin green line. So on this side, this is the things that have more priority. These are the things that will get moved up. Or sometimes we'll come in, we'll have an idea, we'll put it up here, or it won't even make it here. It'll just go directly to here or to here. So in the ideas section, we have some things that we want to work on. Cross-sell BDR, signature campaign, CIO radio, we want to explore that. A new joint venture, upsell managed service to IT clients, look at Box Pilot. So at some point, those will come off of here, and they'll go to me, and they may go to Tom, or they may go as a joint operation. Brad is our service manager. He has some items that he's going to be working on. One of the things we're doing right now is a major revamp of our website. Our whole website is being redone. So Heather is working on that. Fred helped me with the board. So he came in the morning, he saw what he needed to do, and so we could talk about it. Then over here under Dynamic, lots of things. We just signed up with Tim Shea for Leadcaster, VisiStats, and by the way, he can get you a really good price if you're interested. Shannon is already going to connect with him. We just started Leadcaster, so for the first couple of weeks, I'm going to be looking at that every day. After that, I think our 2 salespeople will look at it and we'll check in on it. We have a partner ad in Robin Recommends that is coming out soon. We have some video testimonials we're working on. We do weekly video tips. I'll talk about that a little bit later. We have 3 presentations coming up later in the year. Those need to be worked on. Of course, the newsletter is always there. I mean, the newsletter, you can't go away from the newsletter. The $25 Easy Solution bill. Monthly staff, we put that on there because after hearing Robert Stevenson talk so well about customer service, we've been using his 52 Tips for Success book, and every Monday morning, staff member gets a copy of the tip on their desk and a video from Tom where he reads it and talks about it. We created a wall behind the kitchen, and we used something called Idea Paint, which basically allows you to put a whiteboard painted on your wall, so every week people can come and make comments on what the week's tip from Robert Stevenson was. So, and that's part of marketing. And the static stuff down here, Kaseya, the sign, the web book, may need to be revised. Then we have all of our completed items and discarded items. And then I also used it for, I've developed a system to do a 3-step campaign where we can do 3 30-day bad date campaigns in 60 days. And all I have to do is just cut the little piece out of the spreadsheet and we can just move them over, because that was always like Victoria said, you back things out. I mean, that's really always difficult. So I just systematized it by making a spreadsheet, and we can just take a look at it. I keep up on there in the newsletter. And one of the best things that I've seen Robin do in a long time is the last Producers Club. She went through the anatomy of a master sales letter where she deconstructed the bad date letter. If you haven't seen that, look at it. It's terrific. I actually have on the board, one of the ways that Tom and I get all this done is that we're great list makers, pencil and paper list makers. So when we go to boot camp, we sometimes compete to see who can come up with the biggest to-do list. And when we get back to the office and we put them together, and oftentimes about half of them are duplicated. I mean, I've already got a to-do list from yesterday of about 25 things I want to check out. So when we went to implementation seminar, I made a list of 65 things that Robin said that were really important. For example, getting to meetings on time, how you are on anything, you are on everything. So Robin, if you listen to Robin often enough, you'll be able to pick out a lot of nuggets. So I keep that up there and look at it once in a while. So that is the marketing wall. Now let's take Shannon. I think you use the marketing wall somewhat?
I do.
Okay. How do you use it? I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm thinking maybe I need to change mine up again. So.
Well, it's very dynamic.
Yeah.
It always changes.
Yeah. What I did was we red, yellow, and green everything. So red means kind of it hasn't really taken the next step. Yellow means in progress, and green means we're moving forward with a marketing project. And then I take Robin's categories like she has for her monthly marketing calendar. Like, lead generation, what are you doing for lead generation? What are you doing for securing revenue? And so I put that as the columns up the top, and then I red, yellow, and green everything on the side. So I'm constantly looking at it daily and saying, am I moving stuff forward in each category? So that's kind of how, but yeah, I did a big cork board. I saw what you did, and so I copied it, and but just changed it up a little bit. So I'm constantly looking at monthly instead of yearly. It's a monthly thing, just making sure I'm moving things along.
Right, and I think that's one of the keys to it is top-of-mind awareness, because the board that sits in my office is 9 feet by 7 feet, and so it's just there. It just becomes a part of your thinking. One of the, I think, secrets to success in our marketing is that Tom is very interested in marketing. Tom is an excellent salesperson, but we have sort of made marketing a part of the company. I mean, it's just a part of, you can't say that we're a marketing sales organization who, by the way, does web and tech, but we are a marketing and sales organization to some extent, because if the whole purpose of marketing is to drive leads to the sales department, which I think that's the whole purpose of marketing, to generate those leads, you have to find a way to do it, and you have to find a way that it becomes everybody's job in the organization, not just yours. I mean, honestly, I couldn't get done all I get done without the staff, because they're helpful, they're supportive. Tom is always there with great ideas. We can strategize quickly, and by having this tool, then we can move things through pretty quickly. Now, a couple of things I'll point out here. You see I have yellow and green. The yellow is something that's new for this year. The green is something that we started last year, or was already going, or whatever. So I just use that little color coding in the process. Do you see how you could take an idea and now use the marketing wall to progress it? Does it make sense? I mean, what kind of questions does it raise in your mind? Can't be that clear. Yes.
One other thing about the ideas, I think so many times we can come up with a great idea or have a swipe folder, but you get lost. And having the marketing wall, it's always there in front of you, so you don't lose a great idea that you had, when you went to a boot camp.
Right.
So it's always just in front of your face, reminding you, hey, this is a great idea. We need to do something with this.
Right. Right. And that's part of the beauty. And the other thing about ideas, there are no bad ideas. In non-traditional marketing, there's no such thing as a bad idea. Put it up there, talk about it. May not want to do it. It may not work for some reason. May not be the time. But there are really no bad ideas. But if you don't capture them, you don't remember them. Anybody else using anything like this? Tim, do you want to comment?
I've been using the wall since I saw it. I mean, I started implementing it while you were talking about it at one of the meetings. It is a great tool for organizing your thoughts. I mean, that's really what it is, and it's something to go back to. And my company is fairly virtual, so I have like 3 offices, so I keep it with me. Being a techie guy, I moved it to Visio from the spreadsheet you provided.
Okay, right.
Just lets me drag things around a little easier. And I make a point of going in there at least once a week to just, even if I'm totally bogged down with other things, once a week, I just sit and stare at the thing and try to figure out what I need to do to move forward.
Okay.
Very, very effective. Between that and then having a calendar type view of what I'm doing with the market, that's pretty much how I run my marketing.
Yeah,
So.
okay.
Mine is a lot smaller.
Is that turned on? Is on.
It's actually a lot smaller than yours. I started it in January when I got your idea, and I pretty much, we have a 15-minute meeting every day just to kind of go over, okay, this is what we need to do today, this is what we need to do this week, this month, that kind of general thing. And I have a lot less columns, a lot less.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be much nicer, you know, in the next few months or so. But yeah, it's really helpful. It actually can tell you everything that you need to do. Of course, I still have my Post-it note pile, as Robin said, beside my computer, but it's a way to keep the Post-its without actually losing them.
No, without losing them, period, yeah, yeah. Okay, thanks.
And Rich, on the virtual, quick question here is, let's see, from Debbie Bush. How and when do you transfer the items on the list?
In other words, what moves them from one category to the other?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's real simple. If we're in a meeting and we say, okay, it's time to get on this cross-sell BDR campaign, it goes from here to here. All right? So if it's sitting in development, someone is working on it, when it's completed, and we're executing it, then it moves over here. If it's something we have to keep track of fairly regularly, it goes here. If it's something that's more permanent, it goes there. So the key is, when it's done, it moves.
How long do you keep piling onto your completed before you sift through that and say, okay, we don't need to worry about this anymore, we'll file it away and maybe go back to it some other time? Something that may need
I would say never.
Never.
No.
You never clean out the completed?
No. Why? Because why would I want to clean it out? Because if it was a good idea and it worked once, we might look at it again and say, oh, you know what? We need to do another Ask campaign. I mean, it's just a point of reference. Now, I don't see it ever really being a problem, but if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. That's why I prefer to have it here as opposed to in my computer.
Well, when you're going to just let it get bigger, or are you going to pile on top of? You can't pile on top because then you lose sight.
Oh no, it'll just get bigger.
You just get bigger.
Just get bigger. I'll buy more cork. I mean, I don't know.
So when you, like say you decided to do the Ask campaign again, do you move it from completed to in development then at that point?
Probably. Yeah, that you're getting to technical fine points, but yeah, we probably would. Yeah, and I don't think I want to have 2 Ask campaigns over there. I mean, at some point, this is really, we try to use this for the 10,000-foot picture. But yes, Michelle.
I have a question about getting your staff involved. You said everybody's involved in marketing. What do you find is the best way to do that? Is it meetings? Is it, what is it?
Well, is in most organizations, everything starts at the top. Tom is firmly committed to marketing. He's firmly committed to branding. He's firmly committed to being the expert. So we talk a lot about it. You know, we have web staff, we have tech staff, we have some support staff, we have SEO staff. Yeah, everybody, it's just part of our culture. You know, it's just something we talk about, the Robert Stevenson stuff. We show them some of Robin's videos. They knew all about the Better Your Best contest. I mean, you know, it became a subject of conversation. So it's just part of our culture. And how you make it a part of your culture, you know, that's really hard to say. But it does start at the top.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Stop me anytime you have a question. All right. I did some recalculating last night. And what you see on the board, it actually represents 204 campaigns and strategies. Now, if you subtract out 52 video tips, 12 newsletters, and 12 electronic newsletters, the number's around 204. But we had to manufacture 52 video tips, we had to manufacture 12 newsletters and 12 email newsletters, although it was a copy. So when I'm talking about strategies and campaigns, I lump everything together. I just lump everything together. So, Jeff, I don't know if there would be some, where's the accountant? Oh, Victoria. Maybe there would be some way, that people could, you could establish a benchmark of, say, 150. How does your company rate in strategies and campaigns? You know, if you're doing 10, probably need to bring it up. But yeah, that's the way the number breaks down. Okay. All right, back to our four goals. How did this work towards managing our 4 goals? We wanted to manage things. We wanted to do a marketing plan. We wanted to win the Mercedes, and we wanted to have a comprehensive plan for marketing. All right, goals 1 and 2. Actually, I think there are 9 of these. There are 4 on this slide and 5 on another one. The marketing wall has made us really nimble. And marketing is always all about opportunity. So Tom and I really manage in minutes. And as I say, I was in business development for years, and I can't tell you how many meetings I went to, marketing meetings, where you spent most of the time figuring out when you're going to meet again. I mean, is that ring? Yeah, yeah. So at a glance, we can be accountable, discuss issues, optimize, and assign responsibility. Top of mind awareness. Your goal, using Robin's marketing, is to become the expert, is to have top of mind awareness with your clients about you and your services. Well, if that's the case, then you surely better have top of mind awareness about what's going on in your marketing. Communications. Daily communications about marketing is essential. I remember when I talked earlier about managing relationships, it's required to help manage the marketing and a critical relationship. So it's that 5 minutes, 10 minutes. When Melissa goes in and grabs John in 10 minutes, John, we're going to talk about this. I need this. If you don't make your needs known, you're not likely always to get them. Organizationally, the staff likes the marketing wall. In fact, it's become a tour on office stop. A stop on office tours. We get a lot of people in the office, customers, and it's amazing. They're really quick to see what it is, and buy-in is quick. And from time to time, we even get pilgrims who come to the marketing wall for a pilgrimage. There was our latest one. Our friend Tim stopped by, and that's what it looks like in my office. It's a 7x9 piece of cork. I have a slide at the end that will tell you where to find all this stuff and about how much it's going to cost you to do it. Okay, the other 5 things, accountable. It's made us more accountable to goals, targets, and to each other. Proactive, and this is really important. We can immediately see where we are today, where we should be tomorrow, and then we can address any hitches in the schedule. Because you can go for 4 or 5 days into something and suddenly realize, oh, I've got to do that. So it therefore keeps you more focused. The agenda is in front of you, and the agenda never leaves the building. It makes you more disciplined because that daily interaction becomes a habit, becomes a discipline. And I really can't stress that daily interaction enough. And organized. It just makes you organized. You can see that. Okay, how did it help us win the Better Your Best? We decided to enter the Better Your Best contest shortly after boot camp. And the coming boot camp seemed a long ways away, so we didn't really focus a lot on it until July when I had full time. So what did I do to get us moving towards winning that Mercedes? Well, the first thing I did is I made a second set of all these tabs. I mean, it's not a lot of work, but it took time. And then Tom and I threw them out on a table, and we just started sorting, because Robin was very specific in the phone call leading up to the Better Your Best contest that she wanted a story. She wanted to see how you had executed what she had taught you, and she wanted to see how you measured it. What was the return on investment? So with that in mind, we broke our Better Your Best presentation down into 5 categories. Basics, campaign strategies, believability, sales, and investment. And from that outline, we developed a table of contents for our binders. So these are the 2 binders we submitted to Robin, documenting what we did in marketing last year. So we had basics, and that was things like we decided to really focus last year on monthly recurring revenue. So that was a basic. We decided we had used the marketing wall. That was a basic. I became full-time marketing madness manager. Then we listed all of our campaigns and strategies. We talked about believability, the book, the DVD, the video testimonials, the car wrap, the sign, the shock and awe, the free report, the testimonial books, case studies. We talked about sales, inside sales, outside sales, web tech, local associations, networking groups. And then we talked about some of the investments we made to achieve that, which would be technology and marketing toolkit, accountability groups, producers clubs, visits, and some of the other things that we got involved in. So you can see right away that having the marketing wall helped us put those 2 volumes together, because it was a way of thinking different about what that was. It wasn't now about completed dynamic or in development, but it was taking the same information and thinking different about it. Oh yes, and there's the Mercedes. And Jeff took really good care of it, of course. He even took really good care of it.
Only 1 flat tire.
Only 1 flat tire. All right. Someone asked me yesterday to talk about one of our most successful campaigns, and I'm going to talk about the referral campaign. And I know some of you have used it, and I know some of you have had different levels of success with it. So I'm going to talk just a minute about that. This is the famous $25 bill that got it kicked off. And it's very simple. It's $25 for a lead that gets an appointment. You've got to have an appointment. It's $50 to your friend, whoever referred you, if you close, and $100 off a friend's contract. Now, I think, thinking about it in retrospect, this is one of those programs that works best at level 3 when you have level 1 and level 2. So if you haven't had success with it as much as you would like, probably still means you've got to do some work at those 2 levels. Also, we've been doing this for a long time, and again, part of the success of the referral program is it has to be a part of your culture, and you have to ask for referrals. People aren't just going to hand you referrals, you have to ask for them. This $25 bill is everywhere in the office, it's on the website, and every contract we sign with a client, the last page is a page asking for a referral. I mean, that's almost a gimme. If they're happy enough to sign the contract, hopefully they'll be happy enough to give you a referral. So this is what happened with the referral program last year. We got 77 leads off of the referral program. We closed 36 of those. It was a close rate of about 47%. We figured the cost of the referral program, including all the commissions and the printing, was around $7,000. It generated $185,000 in sales. So it does work. If it doesn't work the first time, try it a second time. And you know, that also meant that there was annual reoccurring revenue of $110,000 a year baked into that. And the follow-up to the referral program, we did a TV and a PC, and this year we did another TV. We're only going to do one follow-up this year. It seemed like the second time we went to the well too soon and didn't get quite as many referrals. We still got some, and it was still successful. So, and really the TV is not about giving away the TV. It's an opportunity for you to talk about your referral program again. It's just a way to bring that conversation up. So I wanted to touch on that. Someone asked about it. Okay. Tom and I think we got pretty good at figuring out how to win this Mercedes. And Robin has, and so we'll have a little fun. So Robin has this Better Your Best in a Box. So I thought if we were going to market this talent we have, we could create a website called Better Your Best in a Box. Okay? And so on the website, you can register to pay a one-time, non-refundable application fee of $500. And you all can apply. I mean, sure, why not? Sure, why not? Okay, and then we'll choose 2. I'll take 1, Tom will take 1, and we'll do the mentoring. Of course, you know the normal cost for coaching to win a $60,000 car is probably around $10,000. But if you register by 2:30 this morning, that's Saturday morning, 2:30, we'll give it to you at a blowout price of $69.99. And we have a ridiculous guarantee to go with it. If you don't win, we'll fly you and a guest of your choice to Lancaster County. We'll go to an Amish farm, and we'll have dinner. And we're going to bring Jeff Johnson along. So, if we were going to do that, that's how we do it, I guess. All right. Goal 4. Enter the year 2011 with a comprehensive marketing plan. Well, there was a problem because the first 3 months of the year we were pretty focused on getting all the Better Your Best stuff done because you really can't put some of that together until the year is over. And then there was getting Tom's presentation together, which took some time and lots of rehearsal. A lot more rehearsal than you got for this presentation this morning. But after we came back from boot camp, guess what? Our marketing plan was still pretty well intact because we had sort of been feeding and watering it. And we'd been doing everything we need to do, but we hadn't really stood up in front of the board and said, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. So that helped. All right, so let me summarize here. Those are the 9 things that I think were most important from the marketing wall. Being nimble, top-of-mind awareness, communication, it helps you organizationally, it makes marketing a part of the fabric of your group. You're accountable, proactive, focused, disciplined and organized. Okay. How can you create your own marketing wall? It's not required, but you might want to give it a shot. Create your starter list. Again, dump out of your brain and your owner's brain everything that you can think of that you're paying for, involved in marketing. Make your labels, sort, categorize according to the headings. Now, Tim mentioned this, and I asked him for a copy of it. There is a, sort of an auxiliary piece to the marketing wall. I have it on a little small 4x6 cork board over to the left of my marketing wall, and it's sort of a calendarized spreadsheet of your marketing activities. And I'm assuming, Tim, that everything that's on your Visio sheet is somehow reflected here at some point, or will be? Okay. So there you have the January through December. He has got it broken down into a couple of categories, but that's really a great way to track it in Excel. All right. Here are the resources you need to make your own marketing wall. First of all, if you go to, see if this works. Whoops. Oh, I got my beads first. All right. Nope, it's not going to do that. All right. All right, we have a website we set up. It's a real website. It's not like Better Your Best in a Box. It's called givetomthecar.com, and we opened that website up during his presentation. And on there, you will find a whole list of our campaigns and resources and letters and a lot of the stuff that we did on the marketing wall. All you need to do is leave your email address, and you get a key to download, and then you can download anything that you find helpful on there. But on there, I had asked Heather to put at the bottom of the page, you can download a copy of the marketing door sign. I think that's really important to keep that in your frame of mind, that you're not talking about traditional marketing. Okay, the marketing wall, Luan plywood. It's like subflooring. It's cheap, it's thin. Dymo label maker, eBay, 40 bucks. Cork wall tiles, I got them from Overstock. Sometimes they're on sale, less than $2 a piece. Liquid nails. Used file folders, cut to that dimension. Map pins from Staples. And then the estimated cost is about $125. And that's how you can put together your marketing wall. And is anybody here going to go home and try this? You get some pens to get you started. Get some pens to get you started. You're welcome. I also, yesterday, I had one person ask me about our video tip. They didn't quite understand the concept of the video tip. And I guess I have enough time, Jeff, to go and explain that. The video tip? Absolutely. Okay. Oh, yes, here is the website, givetomthecar.com. Of course, being an iPad, Flash doesn't always work. Never works, actually. And that's the current team at Lancaster, and you'll find, well, you'll find a couple of things on there. On the way home, we were so excited, Tom and I were so excited, and I had my iPhone video with me, that about every hour or so, we would make a 45-second or 1-minute video from the car, or from the convenience store, or filling up the gas, or from Dulles Airport, and send it to Robin and Andrea. And I think we probably drove them crazy. I mean, just a little bit, okay. So all those funny videos are on there. There's an interview on there by Tom was interviewed by Bill Metcalf. That's really a good interview if you want to understand sort of what's behind our business and what drives our business. You know, then the rest of the stuff is, we have some campaigns on there to show how we did it. Believability. Yeah. We have, yes, And shortly, appearing down here will be a place where you can pick up the marketing wall sign. All right, let me see if I can do the bookmarks here. All right. We do a video tip every Tuesday morning at 7:45. Now, what is it a tip of? Well, it's not really a tip. It's not really a blog. Maybe it's a tip, maybe it's a blog, maybe it's an infomercial. But we do one every Tuesday morning. Now, the last one we did one this week. What do you know what your employees are doing on the internet? And of course, everybody knows about the. Okay, you don't know about it. So we use that. But here's the list of the video tips that we did this year so far. We helped raise some money for John in Joplin. I think about $1,400. We put some fun videos on. May 3rd, that was a video we shot in the Nashville airport, and we're getting our shoes shined with Jennifer Bleem, I believe. So there's nothing there that's predictable. And we send that out to about 2,500 names on the email. And we get about, let's say 300-400 opens and a certain number of click-throughs. But let me play one here. I think this will play. This was only did for St. Patrick's Day. After 25 years, my long-lost cousin Darby McDougall came out of hiding and brought a wee bit of Ireland to the office. He thought he knew all about luck and gold, but you be the judge of that. And then we have a quote from cousin Darby there. But just watch the video, if it will play. Yes. Server's not configured properly. All right. Yeah. Well, anyway, if you go to our website, up under free stuff, video tips, you can watch them. The other thing that is new for us is we've developed a partnership program with IT companies like yourselves, and there are a number of partners here, Tim, and, there's a number of partners here, because sometimes you need to offer web services to your customers, but you can't because that's not really what you want to do. Or you may need to offer, you may want to offer them SEO services for getting on the first page on Google. And you partner with us, we pay you a percentage of the sale every month. As long as we're billing them, we pay you. So it's a little way to build a stream of reoccurring revenue. The one nice thing about our SEO project is Robin did teach us to do that ridiculous guarantee. And the ridiculous guarantee on our SEO is if we don't place you on the first page of Google, you don't pay us. Just flat out don't pay us. But we get a lot of people on the first page of Google, and what we recommend to our clients is when they're thinking about this, set your number of keywords to the amount that you want to pay because we'll eventually get you on that page. All right, let's go back to the keynote. Okay, questions? Yes, Victoria.
So, just to be clear,
Okay.
what would be the difference between an item that was completed versus an item that is static? You know, I'm thinking maybe static is
We're still doing it.
wrapping your car.
We're still doing it. If we threw all the wrapped cars away, then it would go into
Completed.
completed. Yeah. When something is done, it goes into completed. It's no longer an active thing that we do. For example, our all-staff meeting of 6/13 was the meeting where we talked about Robert Stevenson, had that discussion. Well, that's completed, so it's out of the way. Yes.
Is it important for you when tracking things on your wall to know which are email campaigns, which are snail mail, what's a live presentation or anything like that? Do you categorize your activities in any way?
Not other than what we just know in our head. Yeah, no. I mean, I think depending on to what extreme you wanted to take this, you could develop a lot of subcategories and categories. To me, it would lose the value then because you spend more time with the medium rather than working on the message. So, yes?
How much time each week do you spend on making that weekly video?
Well, Tom is getting the reputation now of one take Tom. So he can, we sort of know in advance what we're going to do. We shoot the video, it takes all of 3 minutes. Marie takes it, and I should explain the process because you might be interested in this. Marie, our designer, takes it. She creates an HTML code, which she sends to me. I go to vertical response, open up the HTML canvas, plug it in there. That's how we, and then our mailing lists are there, and then I process it, set it up for launch. But what happens to the video is she loads it to YouTube. So when you get the email and from vertical response and click on the link, well, first of all, in the email, there will be an HTML, it'll be a picture of Tom, and you just click on the link, the picture. That takes you to our website, where, again, you have the video and more information. And then when you're ready to watch the video, you click on it, and YouTube has the video. So we store none of this on our local server. Yeah, and it's very efficient. Microphone back there.
What do you do for like calendaring out everything? Because I mean, it's up there, but I mean, do you have a physical kind of calendar on your wall, or are you guys sharing one like at a base camp, or what do you do for that?
Okay, what do we do for calendaring? If there is an event, like a presentation, an open house, a lunch and learn, I do maintain another little calendar I set off to the left. It looks very much like Tim's, except mine is pencil and paper. It's just on the wall, and I just pin the event there. So that's how we calendar that. We do use Outlook, of course. So, I mean, we keep track of those dates there. But one of the advantages of the marketing wall is if you have an event coming up in 2 weeks, you're going to be discussing it ahead of time. It's not going to be forgotten because it's going to be here. It's going to be at the top of Tom's list. He had a social media seminar a week ago last Thursday. So, you know, that was at the top of our discussion for 4 or 5 days before, because, you know, I checked with the caterer, I had to check with Joanne at ABC, you know, whatever we need to do, and then, yes, we did that, fine. So there wasn't really a checklist. I should also say, one of the other things that I do for myself, and Tom does this on the computer, I'm still pretty much a pencil and paper person. I found Ned Hollowell's book, Crazy Busy, really, really helpful, partly because I am somewhat ADHD. Otherwise, I don't think my brain would be able to process all this stuff. But I have what I call the Crazy Busy task list. And I keep this on my desk. And every morning, I sort of review that. Sometimes I'll make one, if there's a lot going on, I'll make one and put somebody's name at the top if there's 5 or 6 things we need to work through. Like for Nashville, I had one for Nashville, you know. Get this, do this, you know. So that's the way I personally keep track of the stuff. And that coupled with all the to-do lists that Tom and I put together, it sort of all works down into a funnel. If it's essential for marketing, it'll end up over there eventually. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
So a question from the virtual feed. For your back to your referral program,
Do you give your referral bonus for people that have less than 5 computers, for smaller companies? And a second question, who came up with the Super Tom stance that he does?
Sure, that's a real question.
That was actually my question.
Oh, and your first question was, how did we?
For small companies on your referral program, do you reward that, or do you have some sort of clarification on what's a good referral?
Yeah, that's a good question. Our target market is 10 or more computers and 1 server. And actually, I don't think that's ever come up. I think once in a while we do get referrals for, no, we're primarily looking for referrals for managed services, website, and SEO, where we can get a signed contract. And that's where most of the referrals come. So, yes. You're talking about, let's see, let's see, do I have that? Let me, whoops, don't want to do that.
And Tom says that's just his natural charm.
That's just his natural charm. Yeah, it's the that was there a long time before I got there. Yes, Shannon.
You say you meet with Tom daily, like for 10 minutes, kind of y'all. What do y'all do for like quarterly planning? Do y'all do quarterly planning, or you're just kind of on the fly every day planning?
Well, I don't look at this as on-the-fly planning because it's consistent. It would be on-the-fly planning if we only did it 10 minutes every 2 weeks. So I don't really look at it as on-the-fly planning. But yes, we do take time quarterly to talk about what's going on. And most often, it's on the way to the airport, at the airport, and on the plane to Nashville. And we get some really good 6-7 hours to just go over things. And we sort of both know that's going to happen. So, yeah, we do meet quarterly. We don't have a formal sort of set down.
Like the 20th of
No, because it's so consistent all the time. It doesn't. Okay. Anybody else? Jeff, if we stop early, what are we going to do?
There was a request for aerobics. I don't know if that was for you.
I brought my bike.
That didn't even come from Tom.
No. All right. Anything that I didn't make clear? I mean, I really want you to get this, and I think you have.
My question is, since most of the decisions are yours and Tom's on the board there, if the both of you are like in Nashville for 4 days and Brad finishes up something on his list, can he touch the board?
Absolutely not.
Well, it's in your office. That's because in my mind, I'm thinking of where to place the board in our office.
Oh, no, Brad would, when we got back, he would tell us.
Okay.
There's nothing that's that earth-shattering that, yeah.
I have a question too.
Yes, Marcy.
I'm wondering if you feel it would work just as well on a whiteboard written down, like in fine, instead of printing out the labels and everything, because it's very, crafty right now.
Whatever works for you, as long as you have the concept and you use it. I'm not, that works for me. As you saw, my handwriting is really pretty bad on a whiteboard. So. Oh, and a couple of other, oh yeah, I did tell you the newsletter. Okay, yep.
Question here, we'll get David in a minute. Where did you print the Tom $25 bills?
We printed them first on our laser printer, and then we went and printed them at our local copy shop. Yeah, it was the local copy shop that printed them. Okay, David.
What were some of the drawbacks when you first put it on the wall? Like, what was the learning curve like to get this really where it's a smooth oiled machine?
Some days I don't feel like we're there yet, to be honest with you. I just off the top of my head, I would say 3 months. And we had to cycle through some campaigns. And once, in the first time you sort of throw up on the wall, you know, there's going to be stuff on there that, oh, are we still doing that? Or why are we doing that? I mean, so you have to sort of sort through that, what's there right now, to make it your own. And you have to make it your own, literally. I mean, you have to make it your own. So that's kind of a hard question, but 90 days.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
On your list of materials, you had a label printer, I think?
Yeah.
That's how you get all these labels? You're not doing it off the computer and
No,
printing
no,
it?
no, no,
Okay.
no. If I had to figure out how to make labels on Word, it would drive me absolutely crazy. I mean, I know my head well enough that I couldn't do that.
Okay.
But actually, it's a, I don't know if I put it on here. Yeah, it's a label, model 400. And I saw one on eBay for $40.
Okay.
Yeah, $40. Yeah.
And then my second question was, we do have a marketing wall, and I didn't volunteer anything because I don't think we're using it properly. So it's just kind of a static thing. But what we modeled it after, I think, your picture,
Yeah.
which was very color-coded at the time. And now it's just the green and yellow. So what were those color codes for? Why did you change it?
The color codes were probably just what there was some red and some blue on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was just what scrap folders I found in the pile. At that point, they didn't mean anything. Yeah. You're very observant.
So, and all the titles for your categories, that came off the label maker too?
No, that's publisher. That's just publisher. You
Okay.
can just, you know, with
Right.
the shading and the yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Rich on getting your marketing done, whether it's the marketing wall or anything?
There's one up here. Yeah, and one thing I should write all of these down because I have them in my head floating around. One of the things Robin said, and she said it more than once, don't let the perfect get in the way of the good. Yep, don't let the perfect get in the way of the good.
Do you have a process to go from an idea to in development for like you can probably, you know, you research and you plan out how much it's going to cost, and then you submit it to Tom for approval, or
We don't cost any idea out until we decide we're going to look at it.
Mhm.
Okay, and part of the development process is, you know, when it goes in development, that means that somebody is going to have to design it, buy it, write it, pay for it, order it, and so we need to find out when it moves into development what that cost is going to be, and that helps in our making our decision. And Tom is a great resource for new ideas. I mean, I may be implementer in chief, but he's strategizer in chief. You know, we do it together, but he really loves to do that, and he's very good at it. So,
do you get to make any of the final decisions on what goes into development, or or is it
sure.
always a joint decision?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if he doesn't like it, he'll say so, and if he's doing something and I don't like it, I'll say so. I mean, it's a combination project. We work very well together like that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you have, in marketing, you sort of, I think Robin said this, you sort of have to leave your ego at the door. You know, it's not ego-driven, it's customer-driven.
Did you have something with those books? I know you brought copies of the
Oh,
book.
yeah. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, we just, Tom's new book, What Your Computer Guy Never Tells You, just came out, just got it published. And we're working on, actually, you see it on my list there under book promo. And that's something I wanted to talk to Robin about because we're going to have to create a book promo sort of program because I did work in the publishing world for about 15 years, and I understand what it takes to get a book out. You know, you've got you set a publication date, and then you have, say, the publication date for this will be September the 1st. Then you've got to sort of, as Victoria said, back it up because you've got to get copies out to reviewers, you've got to get copies out to radio stations, newspapers. We decided we might send this book to the 50 most influential people in Lancaster County business at the chamber list. But so you've got to have time to plan all of that. So yeah, that's in the works. There are 2 web articles Tom has done. What Your Web Developer Never Tells You, and 21 questions. This is a series of videos that he did on 21 questions you must ask before you hire a web developer. And some of you saw Tom's presentation at boot camp, and I just loved the illustration he used about this helps make you the expert. And he said, book, DVD, your competitor's logo pin, who's the expert? You know? Yeah. So I have a few copies of this up here, if you'd like to take one. It's mostly from Robin. About half of it is original material. And that's the other thing I would say. I think our newsletter is a little different than some of the newsletters because about half or more of our newsletter is original material. So we'll pick a story from Robin, the cartoon, the quote. We used to use the contest until a customer of Tim's called in one day to Tim and said, "Hey, I have the answer to the quiz." And Tim says, "I haven't put the quiz out yet." Well, he also happened to get our newsletter in the email. So now we're doing questions related to Pennsylvania, which is more interesting. And the question for this month, I think, is who was the first woman governor of Pennsylvania? So you probably can still Google it and find it out, but he's not going to be able to figure it out. And if he does, it's not going to do any good to call you and tell you. So, yeah, so our newsletter consists of, we have a web guarantee, our tech guarantee, we have a tech story, we have a web story, and then I interview a web client and a tech client, and I sort of ask them the sandwich question, which is, what was it like before you started working with Easy Solution? What did Easy Solution do for you? And what's it like now that you're working with Easy Solution, and what did you like about it? So I can get them to talk for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. I record it on the phone, and then I go back and I put the parts of the sandwich together, and most of the stories then end up being quotes. And if you get somebody who is really talkative, you can probably get a pretty good written testimonial out of it. And so a tech article, a web article, the referrals. We always publish a list of websites that we're just taken live. And that's pretty much our newsletter. Sometimes we'll have an extra page insert if we're running a promotion, little contest like on the TV or something. So yeah. Yes, Victoria. Microphone.
So, Rich, do you have an idea about how many touches, of all your marketing campaigns, how many touches you need in order to, before you reach a client, before someone becomes a client? So, like the 204 things that you're doing a year.
Well, see, the 204 things that we're doing a year are not necessarily always touching the same clients, because we live on a busy street, and there are 23,000 cars a day that go by, and we have a big sign there. So I calculated that's about 8 million impressions a year. Somebody sees our sign. So every day somebody sees our sign. Every day somebody sees one of our 4 vehicles going around. So to answer your question directly, no, we haven't calculated how many touches it takes, because we don't often start with a cold list. I mean, our list is pretty warm, and it gets warmed until the time they get on there. So I can't really speak to that directly. Yeah.
Okay, question from the virtual. What is a good monthly spend for an IT service company for marketing? Maybe start out with, if you have this answer, what do you guys spend per month for marketing?
Well, I would say the first thing is you should make sure that everything that you spend gets some results. Okay. My guess is that our marketing budget for the month, including everybody's salary and overhead and all the newsletters and the buying the emails and everything, I'm going to guess $6,000 a month, $7,000. I don't know. We're pretty cheap. We try to get by without investing a lot of money in bells and whistles. But I can't really quite accurately answer that question.
Yeah, and I'd probably just echo that the first thing that you said is going to be more important is, are you getting the results out of it? Mm-hmm. $1,000 could be too much if you're getting 0 results and you're doing things that don't work. $7,000, if that's what you're spending and you're getting great results out of it, you're going to be figuring out how can I spend more and getting more of those same results.
Same results, right.
Instead of just sticking with that budget.
Right.